Hello again, everybody. This is C.M. Russell, and welcome to Secrets of the Job Hunt, the podcast edition. Today's episode is entitled Job Hunting Movie Style. And I have a couple of favorite movies out there that I think have really good job hunting lessons buried beneath the line of text. So I'm going to talk about a few of those today and how they apply to your job hunt. And I think you might find them interesting. So the first movie I want to talk about is GlenGarry, Glen Ross. This is a movie from the early 90s, I think, that starred Alec Baldwin, Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, and a few others. And it's definitely one of my all-time favorite movies. And as far as movies about business goes, it's one of the best, I think, that really showcased the drama of the working world. GlenGarry, Glen Ross is about a bunch of salesmen who are struggling to, make their sales calls, and their boss brings in Alec Baldwin, who is basically a, I guess you could say, motivational speaker for them one night, and basically yells at them to get going and increase their sales. But in any case, during his sequence, which is one of the most dramatic and engaging pieces of the film I've ever seen, he recites the phrase ABC. Always be closing. And if you're a salesperson, you really always need to be closing the sale in order to actually do it. So it really got me thinking about, for your career these days, you have to recite ABL, always be learning. If you want your career to prosper and make yourself always in demand, you must continue to educate yourself throughout your entire career. The days of our parents when corporations gave them a pension at the end of a 30-year career are dead and gone forever. Today's job market demands that you must be much more flexible, willing to adapt. Employers are really seeking those who can learn quickly, and I think learning is the key to everyone's career success in this new job market. The more apt you are at learning and picking up new things faster, basically getting up to speed quickly in a job, is paramount to a lot of these companies. And the better you are at that, the more likely you will succeed. Consider yourself a free agent for the rest of your life. Always strive to better your skills, whether that's taking a class, reading a book, finding a mentor. Just always be learning. When I was working at various companies, my longest stint took place at a company called Gartner Group. And I went through 3 different jobs there. I was there for about 5 years, and I ended up, getting a master's degree out of them. They paid for it. But I always made sure that no matter what job I took, I started out on the research side. I then went over to tech support. I worked on that for a while, where I learned new things. And that eventually led me into the website side of things, where I was working on their website, publishing documents, learning HTML, graphics, that kind of stuff. And so I always tried to take jobs that enabled me to learn something new and volunteer for projects that would do the same. So the more you learn, the more you educate yourself, and the more valuable you will be to these employers. So definitely take that to heart, and throughout your career, try and find jobs that will teach you new things and enable you to continue growing throughout your career. All right, so that's definitely one movie you want to check out. It's called GlenGarry, Glen Ross, and again, it's a very good movie if you're into business. The next movie I want to talk about is Wall Street from 1987. Charlie Sheen plays Bud Fox, and he really uses some persistent job hunting techniques to meet a person he wants to work for. So I thought that was interesting in terms of a job hunter. Now, his tactics are kind of aggressive. Some would even call them maybe stalking, but I think they have relevance in today's market just in terms of persistence, being persistent and doing your homework, finding out about the company you want to work for, and then trying to target that company and go after it. So I'm going to read to you, I basically have a script here of the sequence that shows some of what I call job hunting lessons from Charlie Sheen from the Wall Street movie. And I'll kind of read some of these passages from the actual movie script itself. So So, Bud Fox works for I think it's called Jackson & Steinham. It's a brokerage firm in New York City, and he wants to work for Gordon Gekko, played by Michael Douglas. And he's always calling him, just trying to get basically him on the phone just to talk to him. So he's always cold calling him. Anyway, he every time he calls, he talks to the secretary for Gordon Gekko, and on this particular day, this is how it goes. This is Bud speaking. Hello, Natalie. Guess who? That's right. And every day I say to myself, today could be the day. Will you marry me? And please, can you get me through to Mr. Gekko? Of course he's busy, and so am I. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. I know that if he could hear what I have to say, it would change his life. So Natalie responds, Mr. Fox, I've told you before, I'm sure you're a good broker, but our traders talk to the brokers. Mr. Gekko only deals with investment bankers, but I will give him your message. So Bud takes the initiative, and he heads down to Gordon's offices, and all of a sudden Natalie gets a call from the receptionist. I have a delivery here from Mr. Gekko. It's a personal item, and the gentleman says he has to sign for it. All right, says Natalie, send him in. So Bud, somewhat nervously, is led down an impressive hallway hung with expensive modern art, past a huge Calder mobile, and a pool of some 15 traders on phones, terminals, and keyboards. And finally he reaches Natalie's outer office. Bud says, hello, Natalie. Recognize the voice? I'll give you a hint. If you're thinking seriously about marrying me. Natalie says, what are you doing here? Bud says, and you're even lovelier than I pictured. I bought a birthday gift for Mr. Gekko. First of all, Mr. Fox, says Natalie, you can't just come barging in here. And what makes you think it's his birthday? Bud takes out an old crumpled Fortune magazine, with a cover of Gordon Gekko on the front, entitled Gekko the Great. See here, Bud's done his homework. It's in the Bible, Bud says. You see, you better go buy him a present. Please, Natalie, let me give him the gift. It's Cuban cigars, his favorite and hard to get. Natalie sighs. Stay here. I'll see what I can do. 2 hours later, she comes out to Bud, and she says 2 words, 5 minutes. So Bud stands up, tightens his shirt, straightens his tie, and says to Natalie, well, life all comes down to a few moments, and this is one of them. He follows Natalie into Gekko's office. Gekko says, this is the kid that's called me 59 days in a row, wants to be a player. There ought to be a picture of you in a dictionary under persistence, says Gekko. So that's the job hunting lesson from Charlie Sheen. And it really just goes to show you the power of persistence and going after what you want. He did his homework. He looked in Fortune magazine. He read the article. He found out that Gekko likes cigars, and today was his birthday. And he used that to his advantage. And you can do that in your own job hunt. Research the companies you're looking at. Try and find try and find an executive you can talk to, or some information on the company that will let you get a foot in the door, and use that to your advantage. So you definitely want to use research in your job hunt as a way to stand out and differentiate yourself again. I mean, it's all about doing your homework and knowing who you're applying to. So take those lessons to heart, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.